I'm standing in my parents' living room, suitcase at my feet, when Dad says the words that split my world in half. "You're not our problem anymore, Maya." His voice is flat, like he's reading from a script he memorized. Mom sits on the couch behind him, arms folded, staring at the coffee table. She won't look at me. 3 days ago, I lost my job at Henderson and Associates. Budget cuts, they said. 10 years of loyalty, gone in a 15-minute meeting. I came here because this house, this beautiful house with the wraparound porch and the big kitchen, is partly mine. For 6 years, I paid their mortgage. Every single month, I transferred money from my account to theirs. $3,200. Sometimes more when property taxes were due. But now, standing here with nowhere else to go, Dad's words echo in my ears. I blink, trying to process. "What do you mean?" I ask quietly. My brother Ethan smirks from the doorway, arms crossed like Dad. He looks smug, almost triumphant. Something is very wrong here. I can feel it in my bones. Let me rewind. I'm the oldest of 2 kids. Ethan is 3 years younger, the golden child who could do no wrong. Growing up, I was the responsible one. I got good grades, helped around the house, never caused trouble. Ethan? He partied through college, barely graduated, bounced between jobs. But somehow, he was always Mom and Dad's favorite. When I landed my corporate job at 23, I felt proud. Marketing analyst, good salary, benefits. I moved into a small apartment downtown, started building my life. Then one night, Dad called. His voice was shaky. "Maya, we're in trouble. The mortgage. We might lose the house." My heart dropped. This was the house I grew up in, where Mom baked cookies every Sunday, where Dad taught me to ride a bike in the driveway. I couldn't let them lose it. "How much do you need?" I asked. Dad explained they'd refinanced during the recession, made bad investments. The monthly payment was killing them. Without hesitation, I said, "I'll help." That's what family does, right? You show up. You sacrifice. You take care of each other. So I started sending money. Every month, like clockwork. For 6 years, I transferred that money religiously. $3,200, sometimes $35 when taxes hit. I tracked every payment in a spreadsheet. Call me paranoid, but I wanted records. I lived in a tiny studio apartment to afford it. I drove a beat-up Honda while my coworkers upgraded to new cars. I skipped vacations, ate ramen for dinner, wore the same work clothes until they frayed. Mom and Dad never said thank you. Not once. At family dinners, they'd talk about Ethan's new girlfriend or his latest business idea that never went anywhere. When I mentioned work stress or money worries, Dad would grunt and change the subject. Mom would pat my hand absently, then ask Ethan about his weekend plans. I told myself it didn't matter. I wasn't doing this for gratitude. I was doing it because they needed help, and I could provide it. That's what being an adult means. Shouldering responsibility. Putting others first. I genuinely believed they'd remember my sacrifice. That one day, they'd acknowledge what I'd done for them. But standing here now, suitcase in hand, I realize how naive I was. "You can't stay here," Dad continues, his voice cold. "We don't have room. Ethan's living in your old bedroom now." I turn to look at Ethan. He shrugs, that same smug expression plastered on his face. My old bedroom. The one with the window seat where I used to read. The one I painted sage green when I was 16. "But I paid for this house," I say quietly. My voice sounds small, childlike. "I hate it. For 6 years, I sent you money every month. I have records. Bank statements. Doesn't that count for something?" Dad's jaw tightens. Mom finally looks up, but her expression is blank. "Empty." "That was a gift," Dad says slowly. "You chose to help us. We never asked you to keep sending money for 6 years. That was your decision." The air leaves my lungs. A gift? I stare at him, searching for the father who used to tuck me in at night, who called me his little warrior. But he's not there. This man in front of me is a stranger. Cold. Calculating. Protecting himself and Ethan. I want to scream. I want to show him my spreadsheet, my bank statements, the emails where he thanked me for saving them. But I don't. I just stand there, frozen. Ethan finally speaks. Look, Maya, it's not personal. We just can't have you crashing here. You're what, 32? You should have savings. An emergency fund. That's basic adulting. He actually uses the word adulting like he's some kind of financial guru. This is the same guy who asked me for $2,000 last year to invest in cryptocurrency. Money I never saw again. I feel heat rising in my chest. I don't have savings because I've been paying for this house, I say, my voice sharper now. While you lived here rent-free. While you borrowed money from me that you never paid back. While I stop myself. What's the point? They don't care. They never cared. Mom stands up slowly. For a second, I think she's going to defend me. She walks over, and I see something flicker in her eyes. Guilt? Regret? But then she says softly, maybe it's time you figure things out on your own, sweetheart. You've always been so independent. That word, independent. She says it like it's a compliment. Like my independence wasn't born from necessity. From being ignored. From learning early that I couldn't rely on anyone but myself. I nod slowly, picking up my suitcase. Okay, I whisper. I'll go. I walk out of that house, and I don't look back. My hands shake as I load my suitcase into my Honda's trunk. The car barely starts, coughing and sputtering before the engine catches. I sit in the driveway for a moment, staring at the house. The house I saved. The house that doesn't want me. I drive to a cheap motel on the edge of town. $49 a night. The room smells like bleach and stale cigarettes. The bedspread has mysterious stains. I sit on the edge of the bed and finally let myself cry. Big, ugly sobs that shake my whole body. I cry for the money I'll never get back. For the sacrifices that meant nothing. For the family I thought I had. When the tears stop, I open my laptop. My spreadsheet is still there. 6 years of payments. 72 months. $230,000. Plus the extra payments for taxes, repairs, that time Dad needed a new furnace. Closer to $250,000 when I add it all up. $250,000. Gone. And I have nothing to show for it except a motel room and a broken heart. The next morning, I force myself to think practically. I have $1,700 in my checking account. My credit cards are maxed from living paycheck to paycheck while supporting my parents. My severance from Henderson and Associates will cover maybe 2 months of basic expenses if I'm careful. After that, I have no idea. I start applying for jobs. Marketing analyst positions, coordinator roles, anything in my field. But the market is brutal. Every posting has 300 applicants. I send out 20 resumes a day, customizing each cover letter. Most go into the void. A few send automated rejections. None lead to interviews. 2 weeks pass. I'm still in the motel, watching my savings evaporate. I eat gas station sandwiches and ramen cups. I cancel my gym membership, my streaming services, everything except my phone. I need my phone for job applications. I check my email obsessively, hoping for an interview request. Nothing comes. One night, scrolling through my bank statements, I notice something odd. A transfer I didn't make. $500 moved from my savings to checking last month. I frown, clicking through to see the details. The date is familiar. It was the day I sent my parents their mortgage payment. But this transfer happened hours later. Who authorized this? I dig deeper, pulling up 6 months of statements. Every month, the same pattern. I send my parents money. Hours later, a smaller amount transfers from my savings to checking. Amounts varying between $300 and $700. My heart starts racing. I never made these transfers. Someone else accessed my account. I call the bank. After 20 minutes on hold, a representative explains that someone with my account password made the transfers. Do you share a password with anyone? She asks. I think back. The only person who ever had my password was Ethan. 2 years ago, he needed to transfer me money for concert tickets I bought for us. I texted him my login info, then forgot to change it. My stomach drops. Ethan stole from me. For 6 months, maybe longer. I ask the representative to check the past 2 years. She puts me on hold. When she comes back, her voice is careful. Ma'am, I'm seeing similar transfers going back 23 months. Total amount is $42,000. I can't breathe. $42,000. Stolen. By my brother. While I paid his parents' mortgage. While I lived in a studio apartment eating ramen. While I sacrificed everything. I thank the representative and hang up. Then I sit in that dingy motel room, staring at the wall, and something inside me hardens. Changes. Crystallizes into cold determination. I spend the next 2 days researching. I learn about financial elder abuse, theft, breach of fiduciary duty. I screenshot every transaction. I save emails where I mention helping with the mortgage. I find text messages from Dad thanking me for another month covered. I build a case, piece by piece, like I'm preparing for war. Then I find something else. A public records search shows my parents refinanced their mortgage 8 months ago. They pulled out equity, $75,000. The property record is public information. I stare at the document, my mind racing. They refinanced while I was still sending them money every month. They took cash out. And they never told me. I cross-referenced the dates. The refinance happened in January. I continued sending mortgage payments through June when I lost my job. 7 more months. $22,000 I sent them after they'd already refinanced and reduced their actual mortgage payment. They didn't need my money anymore. But they took it anyway. I feel sick. Literally nauseous. I run to the motel bathroom and throw up. When I'm done, I rinse my mouth and look at myself in the mirror. My eyes are red. My face is pale. But underneath the hurt, I see something else. Anger. Cold, focused rage. They stole from me. All of them. And they thought I'd just disappear quietly. I can't afford a lawyer. Not with my bank account bleeding out. But I can file a police report. I drive to the station, walking in with my folder of evidence. The officer at the desk looks bored until I start explaining. Then his expression shifts. He calls over a detective, a tired-looking woman named Sarah Chen. Detective Chen listens to everything. She reviews my documents, asking careful questions. This is financial exploitation, she says finally. Both the unauthorized transfers from your brother and potentially fraud regarding the mortgage payments. I'll need to investigate, but you have a strong case. She explains the process. It will take time. They'll need to interview my parents and Ethan. They'll subpoena bank records. It could be months before anything happens. But in the meantime, she says, looking at me carefully, you should consider a civil suit. The criminal case will help, but if you want your money back, you'll need to sue them. I nod, taking notes. She gives me her card. As I'm leaving, she says, for what it's worth, you did the right thing coming here. Family or not, theft is theft. Her words settle over me like armor. Family or not, theft is theft. I repeat it to myself all the way back to the motel. That night, I draft a message to my parents. I keep it simple. I filed a police report today about the unauthorized transfers from my account and the mortgage fraud. Detective Chen will be in touch. You stole from me. Both of you. I have proof. This isn't over. I stare at the words for 10 minutes before hitting send. My phone explodes. Dad calls 17 times. Mom texts, how could you do this to us? Ethan sends a string of angry messages calling me vindictive, petty, cruel. I block all of them. I don't have the energy for their gaslighting. Not anymore. I know what I saw. I know what they did. The next day, Detective Chen calls. Your family lawyered up fast, she says. That's their right, but it tells me they're worried. We're moving forward with the investigation. She pauses. I also found something interesting. Your brother has a gambling problem. Did you know that? I didn't. But suddenly, everything makes sense. The borrowed money he never repaid. The mysterious investments. The $42,000 stolen from my account. He wasn't paying bills or buying groceries. He was feeding an addiction. And my parents probably knew. maybe even enabled it. A week later, I get a job interview. It's not in marketing. It's a project coordinator role at a small tech startup called Vertex Solutions. The pay is less than what I made at Henderson, but it's something. I show up wearing my best work outfit, the one I've worn to a dozen interviews now. The blazer is slightly worn at the elbows, but it's clean and professional. The interview goes well. The hiring manager, a woman named Priya, asks smart questions. She doesn't just want to know about my skills. She wants to know how I think, how I solve problems. I tell her about campaigns I managed at Henderson, how I streamlined processes and saved the company money. She nods, taking notes. At the end, she asks, "Why did you leave your last position?" I take a breath. I could lie, make up something safe. But instead, I tell her the truth. Budget cuts. I was laid off. It wasn't performance-related. I have references who will confirm that. But I'm being honest with you. I'm in a tough spot right now. I need this job. Priya's expression softens. "I appreciate your honesty," she says. "We'll be in touch soon." I leave feeling cautiously hopeful. For the first time in weeks, I don't feel completely hopeless. 3 days later, Priya calls. "We'd like to offer you the position." I almost cry right there on the phone. The salary is $48,000, $20,000 less than I made before, but it's enough. It's a lifeline. I accept immediately. I start the following Monday. Vertex Solutions is a small company, maybe 30 employees, working on project management software. My role is coordinating between the development team and clients. It's fast-paced and chaotic, but I like it. Everyone is young, hungry, collaborative. No one cares about office politics or who has the corner office. We just work. Priya checks in with me regularly. One day, over coffee, she asks how I'm doing. Really doing. I hesitate, then tell her a vague version of my situation. Family issues. Financial struggles. She listens without judgment. "If you ever need to talk," she says, "I'm here. And if you need an advance on your paycheck to get into an apartment, let me know. We can work something out." I thank her, blinking back tears. Kindness feels foreign after everything. But I take her up on the offer. She arranges a $2,000 advance, deducted from my next 3 paychecks. It's enough to cover first and last month's rent on a tiny studio apartment. Nothing fancy, but it's mine. I move out of the motel and cry tears of relief. Weeks turn into months. I throw myself into work. I excel at coordinating projects, anticipating problems before they happen, keeping clients happy. Priya notices. She starts giving me more responsibility. Bigger clients. More complex projects. One day, she pulls me aside. "You're wasted as a coordinator," she says. "How would you feel about moving into a project manager role? It comes with a raise." I stare at her. "Seriously?" She nods. "You've earned it. You're one of the best hires we've made. The team loves you. Clients request you specifically. So yes, seriously." The raise brings my salary to $62,000. It's not what I made before, but it's progress. Steady. Honest progress built on my own merit, not on sacrificing for people who didn't appreciate it. Meanwhile, the investigation into my family continues. Detective Chun keeps me updated. They've confirmed the unauthorized transfers. Ethan admitted to accessing my account but claims he thought I'd given him ongoing permission. The mortgage situation is trickier. My parents argue that my payments were gifts, not loans. They have no written agreement, no contract. Just my good faith and their betrayal. Detective Chun is frank with me. The criminal case against your brother is strong. The case against your parents is weaker, without written documentation. But the civil case? That's where you'll see results. You need a lawyer. I can't afford a lawyer. Not yet. But I start researching pro bono options, legal aid societies. I find a nonprofit that helps with family financial abuse cases. They assign me a lawyer named Marcus Webb. He's young, maybe 30, with wire-rimmed glasses and a passionate energy about him. Marcus reviews everything. He's quiet as he reads, occasionally making notes. Finally, he looks up. "This is good. Really good. You kept meticulous records. That's rare." He explains that we can file a civil suit for the return of funds under fraud and unjust enrichment. We're not going to get all of it back, he warns, but we can get some. Maybe a lot. We filed a lawsuit 2 weeks later. My parents are served with papers at their house, the house I paid for. I imagine Dad's face when he opens the envelope. Part of me feels guilty. The other part feels nothing but cold satisfaction. They taught me to be independent, to solve my own problems. Well, this is me solving my problem. Ethan is served separately for the theft charges. According to Marcus, he's facing potential criminal charges and definitely civil liability. His gambling debts make him essentially judgment-proof, Marcus explains. He has no assets. But your parents do. That house has equity. If we win, we can put a lien on it. The lawsuit moves slowly. Legal proceedings always do. Depositions are scheduled. Documents are exchanged. My parents hire an expensive lawyer who tries every trick to get the case dismissed. Marcus fights back hard. He's tenacious, arguing that my documented payments, combined with their documented refinancing while concealing it from me, constitutes fraud. During my deposition, their lawyer tries to paint me as vindictive. Isn't it true you're only doing this because you're angry about being asked to leave their home? She asks. I look her straight in the eye. I'm doing this because they stole from me. Over $250,000. Whether I'm angry is irrelevant. The facts are the facts. At work, I tell no one about the lawsuit. It feels private, shameful somehow, even though I'm the victim. But Priya senses something. She pulls me into her office one day. You seem stressed, she says gently. Is everything okay? I crack. Just a little. I tell her the basics. Family lawsuit. Financial abuse. She listens, her expression darkening. That's awful, she says finally. I'm so sorry you're dealing with that. Then she surprises me. I went through something similar with my brother. He stole from my parents for years. Sometimes family are the worst betrayers because you never see it coming. Her words comfort me more than she knows. I'm not alone. This happens to other people. Good people. 6 months into the lawsuit, something shifts. My parents' lawyer reaches out to Marcus about a settlement. They want to avoid a trial. The offer is insulting, $50,000. Marcus and I laugh bitterly. Counter with $200,000, I tell him, plus legal fees. The negotiation drags on for weeks. They come back with $75,000. We counter with $180,000. They offer $100,000. We hold firm at $175,000. Finally, they agree to $150,000 plus $10,000 for my legal fees. It's not everything I paid them, not even close. But Marcus is honest with me. If we go to trial, we might win more. We might win nothing. Juries are unpredictable with family cases. They get uncomfortable. This settlement is guaranteed money. Substantial money. It's your call, but I'd take it. I think about it for 2 days. Then I accept. $150,000. It's a fortune to me right now. More importantly, it's acknowledgement.
Proof that I was right.
That they were wrong. The settlement includes a clause. They must refinance within 6 months and pay me from the equity. If they can't refinance, they have to sell. Either way, I get my money. Marcus ensures the agreement is ironclad. We sign in March, almost a year after Dad told me I wasn't their problem anymore. The money arrives in June. I stare at my bank account, watching the number change. $150,000. I want to feel victorious. Instead, I feel hollow. Empty. This money can't buy back 6 years of my life. Can't erase the betrayal. Can't restore the family I thought I had. But it can build something new. I pay off my credit cards, $18,000 gone in one click. I pay off my car loan. I put $50,000 into a high-yield savings account and don't touch it. Emergency fund. Real security. The rest I invest, working with a financial advisor to build a diversified portfolio. I'm done living paycheck to paycheck. Done sacrificing for people who won't do the same for me. At work, I get another promotion. Senior project manager. $75,000 a year. Priya tells me they're grooming me for a director role eventually. I'm only 33. I have time to build the career I want, the life I want, one where I'm valued and respected. I move into a nicer apartment. Nothing extravagant, just a one-bedroom with good light and a dishwasher. I buy real furniture, not the second-hand stuff I've lived with for years. I cook real meals. I join a gym. I start therapy to process everything. Slowly, carefully, I rebuild myself. My parents try to reach out a few times after the settlement. Emails that I delete without reading. Calls that I don't answer. Mom sends a card on my birthday. I throw it away unopened. Ethan sends a rambling apology text at 2 in the morning, clearly drunk. I block his number for the 100th time. Detective Chin closes the criminal case eventually. Ethan takes a plea deal, probation, restitution, mandatory counseling for gambling addiction. He doesn't go to jail. I'm not surprised. The system rarely punishes white-collar family crimes harshly. But he has a record now. That's something. One day, I run into an old family friend at the grocery store, Mrs. Rodriguez, who used to live next door to my parents. She looks uncomfortable when she sees me. Maya, she says carefully. I heard about everything. I just want you to know, a lot of us always thought you were the strong one, the good one.
Her words surprise me.
Your parents used to brag about you constantly, she continues. How successful you were. How you helped them. We all knew. And we all thought it was wrong when she stops, her eyes sad. Anyway, I hope you're doing well. You deserve good things. She hugs me quickly and leaves. I stand in the cereal aisle, crying quietly. A year passes. Then 2. Life becomes routine in the best way. I wake up in my apartment without dread. I go to work and feel appreciated. I make friends, real friends, not obligations. I date a little, though nothing serious. Mostly, I focus on healing, on becoming the person I was before all this broke me. Priya promotes me again. Director of Client Services. $90,000 a year. I lead a team of 12 people. I'm good at it. I protect them from office politics. I mentor the younger employees. I build the kind of workplace I wish I'd had at Henderson and Associates. One day, a team member thanks me for advocating for her raise. You really look out for us, she says. I smile. That's what good leaders do. My investment portfolio grows steadily. My financial advisor is impressed with my discipline. I max out my 401k contributions. I build real wealth, not for anyone else, but for myself. For the future I'm creating. One where I'm never vulnerable like that again. Sometimes late at night, I wonder about my parents. If they regret what they did. If they miss me. Then I remember Dad's cold voice. You're not our problem anymore. And I remind myself that they made their choice. I'm simply living with the consequences and thriving despite them. 3 years after the lawsuit settles, I get an unexpected message. It's from my cousin Rachel, Dad's niece. We were close growing up but lost touch. Hey Maya, she writes. I know we haven't talked in forever. I just wanted you to know that I finally heard the truth about what happened with your parents. I'm so sorry. They lied to everyone, said you sued them for no reason. But Aunt Linda told me the real story. I'm on your side. I'm stunned. Aunt Linda is Dad's sister. She must have gotten the details somehow. Rachel and I start texting. She fills me in on family gossip. Apparently, my parents are struggling financially. They spent the equity from their refinance poorly. They can barely afford the reduced mortgage payment now. Ethan still lives with them, unemployed, in and out of Gamblers Anonymous. Karma, Rachel says bluntly. They made their bed. Part of me feels vindicated. Another part just feels sad. I don't wish suffering on anyone, but I also don't feel responsible for their situation. They created it. They have to live with it. Rachel asks if I want to grab coffee. I'm hesitant at first, but she's genuine, warm, apologetic. We meet at a cafe downtown. She hugs me tightly. I'm so proud of you, she says, for standing up for yourself, for surviving. Not everyone could do that. Her words heal something I didn't know was still broken. At 36, I finally feel stable, secure. I've been promoted to Vice President of Client Services. Six-figure salary. Stock options. A corner office with windows. Priya is now the COO, and she's been my champion every step. Vertex Solutions has grown from 30 employees to over 200. We're successful, profitable, planning an IPO in the next 2 years. I buy a condo. A real place with 2 bedrooms, a balcony, parking. I furnish it exactly how I want. Modern, clean, comfortable. I host dinner parties for my friends. I travel to places I always wanted to see. Iceland, Japan, New Zealand. I live a life that's entirely my own. My investment portfolio crosses $500,000. My financial advisor projects that I'll be a millionaire by 45 if I keep my current trajectory. Not from inheritance or luck, from my own work, my own discipline. My own refusal to be a victim. That thought fills me with fierce pride. I still see my therapist monthly. She's helped me process the trauma, the betrayal, the complicated grief of losing family who are still alive. You broke the cycle, she tells me. You refuse to accept abuse. That takes incredible strength. I'm learning to see myself the way she sees me. Not as damaged, but as resilient. One winter evening, my doorbell rings. I'm not expecting anyone. I open the door to find Mom standing there. She looks older, smaller somehow. Gray streaks through her hair. Her coat is worn. Maya, she says quietly. Can we talk? Every instinct screams at me to slam the door. But curiosity wins. I let her in, though I don't offer her a seat. She stands awkwardly in my entryway, looking around at my condo.
You've done well, she says.
It's not quite a compliment. More like an observation tinged with surprise. What do you want? I ask. No small talk. No pretense. She takes a breath. I wanted to apologize.
For everything.
Your father and we handled things wrong. We were scared about money.
We made bad choices.
We took advantage of your generosity. Her voice cracks. I know sorry isn't enough. But I needed you to hear it. I study her face. She looks sincere. Broken even. Part of me wants to forgive her. To hug her, and say we can start over. But I've worked too hard to rebuild myself. Thank you for the apology, I say carefully. But I don't think I can have you in my life. Not after everything. Mom's face crumples. Please, Maya. You're my daughter. Family is supposed to forgive. That word, family. She wields it like a weapon. Like it means I owe her something. Family is also supposed to protect each other, I reply. To support each other. To tell the truth. You did none of those things. I open my door, a clear signal. I've moved on. I've built a good life. I'm happy. And I can't risk that by letting you back in. I'm sorry if that hurts you, but you taught me to look out for myself. She stands there for a moment, tears running down her face. Then she nods slowly and leaves. I close the door and lean against it, shaking. Later, I call Rachel. My mom showed up, I tell her. She's quiet for a moment. How do you feel? I think about it.
Sad.
But also free. I said no. I chose myself. That's enough. Rachel agrees. You don't owe them forgiveness. You don't owe them anything. Her words settle over me like a blanket. She's right. I'm finally, truly free. That night, I sit on my balcony with a glass of wine. The city lights twinkle below. I think about the girl I was at 26, eagerly sending money to parents who didn't appreciate it. That girl wanted desperately to be seen, valued, loved. She tied her worth to what she could provide. Today, I know better. My worth isn't measured in dollars sent or sacrifices made. It's measured in how I treat myself. In the life I've built with intention and strength. In the boundaries I've learned to draw and maintain. In the word no that I finally learned to say. I think about Dad's words sometimes. You're not our problem anymore. He meant it as a rejection. But he was right, just not how he intended. I'm not their problem. I'm not anyone's problem. I'm my own person, whole and complete. The lawsuit money is mostly invested now, growing quietly. I don't touch it except to rebalance my portfolio. It's not about the money anymore, it never really was. It was about being seen, being acknowledged, having the record reflect the truth. I gave everything and they took it all. But I survived. More than survived.
I thrived.
Built a career I'm proud of. A life I love. Friendships based on mutual respect, not obligation. And if my parents never understand what they lost, that's their tragedy, not mine. I finish my wine and go inside. Tomorrow, I have a big presentation for a potential client. $1 million contract. I'm prepared, confident, excited. My team believes in me. My boss champions me. I believe in myself. The girl who stood in her parents' living room with a suitcase, hearing those cruel words, she's still here. But she's been forged into something stronger. Something unbreakable. And as I close my balcony door and head to bed, I smile. Because I'm not my parents' problem anymore. I'm my own success story. And that's worth more than any mortgage payment ever could be.